Welcome to Live Shot, broadcasting from the United Kingdom. We're interviewing today DJ Brentano from South Africa. He DJs for radio stations like Kiss FM Australia, Durban Youth Radio, and other radio stations around the world, including Ibiza Radio. So here we go, an interview with DJ Brentano, telling us how he got into it, and may just inspire you to go out and do what you love doing.
Hey yo! It's the Live Shot podcast. Change your world and change the world.
Welcome everyone to Live Shot podcast. Today we've got an exciting show. We got DJ Brentano on the line. DJ Brentano, how you doing?
Mr. Grove, I'm well, thanks, and yourself?
Yeah, you know. It's good to talk to an old friend. That's all I'm saying, man. Long time, bro.
Yeah, man. Makes my heart happy speaking to you, man.
Yeah. So it's been, I've known you for, I don't know, I'd like to say 18 years. I think it might be about that long.
I think it is.
2001. Yeah. I think we met in 2001, didn't we?
2001, yeah. You walked into your mom's place of work with a Arthur CD.
Oh, yeah.
Oi CD. And I was like, who's this dude with the Oi CD of Arthur?
Who's this white guy? Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, right.
So, no, it's brilliant. So, 18 years I've known you. And I think, today I wanted to get you on the show so that really, I think you got an inspiring story. Your story is not finished. You're still on a journey, of course. But I think your journey is something that can inspire other people, especially in the country where you're from and all over the world, of course. So tell us about who you are. So for the listeners who don't know DJ Brentano, tell us a bit about you and what you're doing right now, yeah?
I am a DJ producer. I make dance music. And I'm currently just releasing singles with the label called TR Records out in Rome. And that's my focus for now. Just putting out some good music and following my dreams.
Hey, bro. I mean, it's, not everyone can do that, right? I mean, everyone should do that, but not everyone. And from what I know about you,
can.
Yeah.
I think everybody can. I think people are just afraid of the unknown. I think that's what it is.
So fear kind of draws people back, you think?
Definitely. That's the only thing.
So since I've known you, you've always wanted to be a DJ, and it took you a while to get there. It's reached the place where it's been the last few years now that you've gained this success, but you never gave up. And take my hat off to you because you really pushed at it and you kept going. So tell us a bit about that.
Well, you want to know why I started or where I started?
I just want to get a glimpse of your tenacity to not give up. That's really what I want to get out of it.
Okay. Well, firstly, my first focus was actually football. I always loved music and was always into music, but my first love was soccer. I played football, and I only had a dream to play in the UK. That was my only focus. And when that dream died, because I broke my leg when I was playing out in the UK, I had to change focus in terms of my dream because I couldn't continue on that path of being a soccer player. I'd broken my leg, so the next talent I had was DJing, and I knew quite a bit about it. I enjoyed it, I loved it, and I said I'm going to do this until I die. And I think that was the decision for me. I just decided I'll die doing this, and that was it. It was as simple as that.
Like 80 years old, bro. DJing. That's brilliant.
I watched a documentary recently, and they say that DJs only peak in Ibiza at the age of 45.
45. So like Cole Cox.
Yeah, they only peak at the age of 45. Yeah, I mean, Cole Cox is in his 50s. He's almost 60 years old, and he still rocks crowds out in Ibiza and worldwide. And that was the thing is, I studied all of that, and I knew that the goal was reachable. I saw the timelines, and I kind of figured it out. If I put time and effort and research into it, I can definitely make it happen.
That's an important
networking.
thing. Yeah.
Networking was also key.
Of course, networking, network, and that takes a bit of work, doesn't it? I think a lot of people are not willing to put that effort into doing that.
Yes, it's also it is frustrating because you're going into an unknown. You don't know what to expect. It's just I want to reach the top. How you're gonna get there? You got no clue. You don't know how you're gonna get there in terms of the obstacles, in terms of the setbacks, things like that. You just know that my destination is there, and I'll meet people along the way. Some will help me reach it. Some will slow down the process, but eventually I will get there.
So what did you do? Like you say, networking, and I mean, I wasn't even going to go down this route, but it's just an interesting thing. You just mentioned it. What did you do with networking? You just said, hey, I want to just connect with this guy on a social media. Or did you actually approach people at shows? How did you actually network?
I found people who were passionate about the same things as me, like yourself and the crew that we used to hang out with your Carvin Goldstones, your Gregory Cassams, your Peter Nyedi, the Spin the Flavor crew, just everybody. So everybody was in the industry that I wanted to be in. So I became friends with them and learned what I could from everybody in an organic way, not in a forceful way, but just letting the process take control.
It's inspiring to hear that, because it's if you just keep pushing, keep networking, do your research, and that's something that you've just said now, which is quite interesting. It takes a bit of effort, but you put the research in. How do people do it? What are the keys to their success? And then kind of follow that pattern as much as you can, or maybe that's a recipe for success. Maybe it doesn't. It doesn't always work for everyone, but it definitely helps.
I think the hunger plays an important role, because like the hunger for success and the hunger to make this work. Like I recall not having the equipment for DJing. What I would do is I would download the notes about DJing and find out about beat structures, about whatever it had to do with DJing. I would find out about it. The equipment, even though I didn't have it, I knew about it. So that was also very important. Just the hunger and the drive. So every time people spoke to me, it was like, "Hey, are you still DJing? Is the DJ thing happening? Whatever it is." So that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I remember I lived in Port Elizabeth, and I really wanted to get into music production. And this is before I knew you. So this is in the 1990s. And I had a Ford Sierra, and I saw this keyboard that I really wanted. Was a Roland JX305. So it was one of those workstation keyboards, yeah. So like, oh, that's the same price as my car. So I'm like, no, you know what? I'm going to sell my car. I'm going to get that keyboard, and I'm going to start making music. Yeah, that's what I did. Is there something like that you've done, that you've sacrificed things to get what you need?
And here's the funny thing. I remember that story of yours. I remember it, and it was key to me doing something in my life when I went to Dubai.
Yeah.
I sold my car and I went to Dubai, and awesome. I went to every club in Dubai, and I gave them a profile, and I met with promoters, with club owners, with everybody in the industry. And by the time I left Dubai, I had a licensing agreement with one of the biggest record companies in dance music, which is TR Records.
Amazing.
And so thank you for that, for selling your car and following your dream.
And cars are very important when you're in South Africa. Of course, you got to get around. It's a big country, right? So
Yeah.
awesome. So it's not always been like this for you. So we've set the scene now. It's DJ Brentano, who's a successful worldwide DJ, playing in Kiss FM in Australia. And I'm not even sure where else you play in other stations around the world. Maybe you can mention a few.
Ibiza. Yeah, I play on Pure Ibiza Radio. And where else is there? Every week I'm on a local station, which is Durban Youth Radio. They're actually still around. They've opened up in Florida Road again. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
but
weekly I'm
East
on
Coast radio.
And then
Yeah.
East Coast. Yeah.
No, carry on. East Coast.
Sorry. Yes. East Coast Radio. I don't think the style that I play is specific to the audience. I think it's a bit different. Like mine is a deep soulful house, which is very niche, if I might say, in dance music, because you get your electro and your commercial stuff. Mine is just there, I'm not sure if it's underground or but it finds a nice balance. Yeah.
So it's almost commercial, but a little bit underground at the same time. So Tano, we've set the scene now. So you're at this point successful in many people's eyes, but I'm sure that there's different levels of success that you're going to attain. But there's not always been like that. And so, could you just tell us a bit about your upbringing and in the neighborhood you grew up in, and I'll ask you more about your family in a minute, but just tell us about the neighborhood that you grew up in.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a place called Greenwood Park. I did my primary school in Greenwood Park. And I then moved to a place called Bonella in Mayville, which was one of the first communities which was integrated after apartheid. So we had colored people living with Indian people and black people, and a few white people, but very few white people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I grew up.
What was it like? So there's this first racially mixed apartheid designated area. So I mean, the opportunities, I suppose, at the time, you grew up near the tail end of apartheid. So as a young teenager coming out of that, I think you were just experiencing the democratic South Africa in the early 90s. But was it still difficult for you to kind of shake that off and move forward? I mean, how did you overcome those, that mindset of like, well, this is where we're from, and you're looking at the privilege on the other side of the fence, and how did you deal with that internally?
I think it wasn't that difficult. I was probably 13 years old, and kids are kids. So whether you're colored, white, Indian, black, the kids were cool. I think it was more the parents that had the issues because of the systems, the apartheid systems. But I would say it was just a bit of teasing, but nothing like really hectic, Like guys would say, "Oh, you're a white guy," or whatever, give you a nickname and stuff like that, but nothing hectic. I was going to say everybody was more or less on an even playing field in our community, because there was teachers, there was not doctors, teachers, nurses, like professionals who lived in the community. So everybody was more or less on an even playing field in terms of lifestyle and economic wise, which made things easier to get together socially, like to integrate. Yeah.
So tell us about your mom and dad, and how they've have they given you any inspiration to follow this dream? Yeah.
I think the parents would be the hardest people to convince that you want to do music. as your career and as your dream.
They're like, well,
It's
get a
really
real
hard to
job, yeah.
convince them. And I actually had a real job. I had a really good job, earning really good money. And one day something just said to me, you know what, that's enough. And I walked into my boss's office and said, I'm not doing this. And then I told my parents afterwards. And it was really a fight. It was like, how could you do something like this? Are you sure? You know, is this really what you want to do? And I was like, yeah, I'd been thinking about this for quite a while. And it's kind of fueled my ambition in a way. The I'll say non-support of it. Not getting full support. It fuels your passion and your hunger to succeed, which I think is necessary. I think you need opposition and doubters, and that's what I found in my parents. Not that they didn't support me, just that out of concern, I would think. You know, yeah. And yeah, tell you more about my dad. My dad is a guitar player, son of a pastor. Also plays the banjo. A very religious man. Prays every single day for us, for the community, for yeah. But also keeps a balance in growing us up. He would sacrifice us going to church on a Sunday to go and play football for the club, for the local soccer club, or if we're involved in any extramural activities, he would make sure, that we got involved. But yeah, he's definitely a pillar and a strength,
Yeah,
guiding
he's
force.
helped
That's
to
for sure.
shape your character, right? Which is awesome. And I think
Definitely.
I think part of what makes you strong and what makes you go and get it is probably the way you were brought up a little bit. So it's credit to your mom and dad for really like being good parents, supporting you, giving you that good characteristic to say, yes, I'm driving for this, I'm going for this. I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm just going for it, which
Sure,
is awesome.
Yeah.
So what are opportunities like now? Because you're still living, I actually don't know where you live at the moment, but you live in the Durban area. But what are opportunities like for people in their 20s now? Do you see some like a shift going on, and people are like getting frustrated, or is there opportunity in South Africa at the moment for people to do something different? What do you think?
I think that everybody with a cell phone has an opportunity. That's how small the world has become. That somebody sitting in rural South Africa could create an app that could change the world, or you don't need anybody except a cell phone and the internet, and you could do whatever you want. You could contact the biggest celebrity in the world on Instagram, on Facebook. So I think people just limit themselves, but a cell phone and internet is everything you need. Yeah,
That's
we all have the same opportunities.
yeah, that's a good point actually. So some people might make an excuse like I don't have the capital to start up or something, but I think what you're saying is you've got the internet, you've got a mobile phone, do a bit of research, start learning how to do things,
Yeah,
contact people and network, right?
yeah. Everybody around the world does the same thing.
Yeah, it's a much smaller world, like you say, because of the internet. So
Yeah.
how did I think we kind of covered this already, but I do want to ask, how did you overcome the fear of, when you gave in your resignation that day? I mean, something must have driven you to that point, and you overcame that fear of saying, I'm just going to try this, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. So tell us a bit about that little journey that you took.
That journey actually started the day I started working at a corporate company.
Oh yeah.
I realized when I sat at my desk, I said, I can't do this. But it took me 5 years to get the courage to walk into the boss's office and say, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Is it because
I
you had
think
that stable
my
income and you you had the stable income, and you're like, well, life's a bit cushy right now. Don't know if I want to give
Yeah.
up just yet.
I decided that I wanted to leave a legacy, and I didn't see myself leaving a legacy sitting at a day job. So yeah, that was it. That's all I decided. It took me 5 years to get the courage just to go in and say, "Yo, I'm done."
Well, better late than never.
Yeah, you know.
Well, so okay, so now you're here where you are. Okay, so this is your job. Tell us about what you do on the daily. So is it like a practice that you do every day that keeps you sharp and keeps you creative? What do you do?
Yeah, definitely. On a daily, I work on the software that I produce music on. So every day I make sure that I at least have a structure of a new song, whether it's just laying down drums or keys or synths. I make sure I try and learn, you know, in terms of production and stuff, and then also source out new music, see what's happening on the scene in terms of the dance music culture and stuff. Where I want to be, who's actually doing what I would like to be doing. So I check up
Yeah.
on them, what are their moves and stuff. So that's my daily routine. And then I try and spend a lot of time in studio. Like, you know, from back in the day, I was always in studio, even if I wasn't involved, but I would always watch and try and learn. And I still do that. I go into studio like a few times a week, even if it's a hip hop recording or whatever. I go in and just try and stay sharp and keep up with the times.
So you're hanging out with guys who've got their own studio. They might be recording some hip hop album or whatever. You just go in and watch
Yes.
what's going on.
Yeah, and network, like I say, just take numbers. Yo, who are you? What are you doing? You know, and that's how I think we can build our brands and our networks. You know.
So how do you market yourself? Do you have people doing that, or do you have to market yourself at the moment?
No, I have to market myself. So I do little videos. Like I do animation videos. I've taught myself a bit of animation. Um, so that's what's part of my daily routine. I'll spend a bit of time on that. Put out a little video, things like that. Yeah, and also it helps being with TR Records because they license my music and then also do a bit of marketing. They obviously out in the international market and in Europe and the States. Locally, I find I struggle a bit, but I am making headway. It's taking a minute, but I am making some headway.
So you'll find some paths to break through locally there, but also be open. You traveling a bit? Or you got any plans coming up for travel?
Yes, at the moment, the record label is setting up a European tour. So I'm waiting on them to release my new single and then give me tour dates. Yeah,
So you
that hopefully
come
is
see us in the
happening
UK
next
or what?
month. Definitely, I want to do some shows out there for sure. Definitely.
All right, we're gonna connect here in the UK sometime. Carbon H is coming soon.
He told me, he didn't give me the date, but he did. We're actually leaving tomorrow morning on the MSC for a week, and then we're back on the MSC on the 18th.
So is there something that you do that's not related to music that you do? Maybe once, do you do exercise? Do you walk on the beach? Do you take a dog out? Do you cycle? Anything like that you do that's kind of like disconnected, that kind of gives you that, a bit of calm or something?
I play a bit of basketball every now and then, and also the ocean. I love the ocean, so I'm always swimming down at the beach, but not as much since they saw a bull shark out at Veggies. So I haven't been Yeah, I
beware.
haven't been swimming as much. Yeah.
Well, so I want to get on to, because you obviously DJing in front of crowds, maybe at nightclubs or venues or wherever it may be, like on the ships. So there may be some people that know you and follow you, not necessarily around, from gig to gig, but I think that people would recognize you and see you at the gig, maybe talk to you afterwards. So is there a sense of mentorship now that you've got to this place, where you see, okay, these people, they want to be a little bit like me, and how do you deal with that, and how do you intend taking that forward?
I do realize it, and I try and engage each person on a personal level. So each interaction, um, but I also speak to younger kids who want to get into DJing, like in my community. I've recently been approached by Boston Media College to come and speak to the kids who want to get into dance music and production and stuff like that. So yeah, I just chat to situations, like different situations as they come. Yeah.
So would you, if a young person came up to you, would you encourage him? If you said, I want to be a DJ, so you, from your particular point of view, would you encourage that, or would you say, hey, first go and get your university degree and then DJ? I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying which way is wrong or right. I'm just saying, well, what do you think?
It would depend on. I think I can pick up the hunger, and I direct them in different ways. So if I realize you really want this and this is the only thing you want, I would definitely encourage you to follow your dreams, do your research, set a goal, decide. If a DJ or a potential DJ says to me they want to be the best DJ, I think that's more than enough. That is it. I think that's the starting point and the ending point. If you want to be the best, I can help you and show you the ropes. Yeah, that's all you need.
And people who really are persistent and don't give up on that and just follow it through will be the ones that succeed
at anything.
Yeah, at anything really. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything particular, but if you really focus your mind on it, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do, and forget about the hurdles. Yeah.
Also, write it down and read it out to yourself. Write it down, read it out to yourself on a daily, and it will happen.
Is that what you did? You do that?
Yeah, I did. And my dad had been telling me to do that for years. And eventually when I did, I started seeing the doors open.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I remember
I just wrote it down.
So I've got a whiteboard next to me here, and I've taken it down since, but I had this saying that was don't ever take shortcuts. So it talks about always see it through to the end. Don't try and take shortcuts on things. Do it properly. And it really helped me, because my personality is to do things as quick as you can, get them done no matter what, and cut corners if you need to. Yeah. And it doesn't always help me, because I could do stuff and then it fails and then I give up, but because I'm trying to cut corners, right? But if I don't cut corners, it might actually go better. And so I've learned a lot. So let me just reiterate it. So I think what you're saying is write it down. Write down your goal on a piece of paper and put it somewhere where you see it every day, and that's going to help you through. It's going to say, yeah, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to get. Yeah,
definitely. Because some days you don't feel like doing it, and when you see that, it kind of changes something in your mind, and you realize, no, this is what I want. Even if you don't want it as much, you end up wanting it passionately after reading it.
Yeah. So I did want to ask about, because creativity is something that's key to your work. What do you do when you hit like maybe like a writer's block in a way. You're trying to write a song, it's just not happening. What do you do?
I just keep going. Like my first single actually took the one with the nudes, infatuation. It took about maybe 3 or 4 years to actually get to where I wanted it. So I think just be persistent. Know that you want the best, you know. And
So
yeah, that's what
are
I
you
did.
saying are you saying that song took you? Did I hear that right? That song took you a few years to perfect.
Yes, because I'd given it to a writer who wrote for it, and we were supposed to get in studio. That person delayed for another year and a half, almost 2 years. Then I had to give it to new
Wow.
writers, which I did. Then they wrote, came into studio, we're back and forth. And yeah, but eventually it's the song that got me the deal with TR Records.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, I think it was worth it.
So my personality probably would have been, oh, it's just not working. Let's just try a new one. That's me. I'm like, just get on with a new one, okay? So I think there's probably good things about my characteristic and really good things about yours. So, pushing through and saying, I'm not giving up on this thing. This song is good. I know it just needs something on top of it to make it work, right?
Sure.
So
yeah.
so I want to ask
but
you.
The
This
world
is a bit of
needs
a
people like you, though. I say the
I
world
suppose they
needs
do.
people like you because shortcuts is what we need.
we need a few shortcuts, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I just got two more questions, and one of them is it's a very broad question, but why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? I think it makes me feel alive, like I'm worth something. I think everybody wants to feel worth, uh, feel valuable to their friends, their family, to their communities. I think I found that this showcases a bit of value to the people around me, and I enjoy it. I love it. So yeah,
So that's good. So you enjoy it. You feel valued when you do it, and you feel like you're giving value to other people. And that kind of leads me on to my next question: is what do you think your music helps people and can help people? What can it do for people? Your music.
I think my music. I try and put across a message in each song. Um, like not necessarily my own message, but sometimes the writers, when they've written the song, I sit down with them and I hear the story behind the song, and I kind of co-write. So there's always an underlying message. I have a song called Freedom, which speaks about following your dreams. I'm not sure if you have it. And then my next one is Praises Goes Up. So I try and keep a an inspirational theme almost. Like the first song is called Infatuation, speaking about a girl that liked a guy because of the looks and whatever. Now she's moved on to bigger and better things. Um, so each song does have a message, and at the same time, it's fun and it's dance music. So you can listen to it for the message, or you can listen to it for the vibe. And yeah, that's what I want to put out through the music. Just good vibes, good messages. Um, yeah.
And music is very important to many South African communities. I noticed that when I started to integrate with, races besides my race, the white race, and I came, and like I said, we both grew up just as young teenagers coming out of that separation. I actually didn't know about it I must admit, when I was in my 10, 11, 12 years old. I didn't know anything about apartheid necessarily. We didn't realize it. And then Mandela got released, and you know, then I started to hang out with people of different color, and I was like intrigued by their love for music, and just how music was so important to them. You know, everyone would have a hi-fi stereo at home, and they'd be pumping music, and as much as they could have a system in their car, and it had to have big bass, you know, and music was everywhere, and people were dancing, and I thought, you know what, music is such a thing that frees up people and gives them, like you just say, it's a good vibe, you know, and I think it's and I think if people listen to music and it makes them or gives them a bit of a boost and happiness, I mean, that's amazing, right? Has it changed since then, or is it still similar? Is it still important to people in those communities?
Definitely, 100%. I think that's where the music actually lives in those communities. Now it's become more commercialized, where you have venues showcasing like artists and stuff in the locations and the former disadvantaged communities. It's become very, very much an industry, and an industry which makes a lot of money. But the actual vibe at people's houses and stuff, it still goes on. People play their music loudly. The neighbors party till late. It's quite it's part of our culture, actually. Yeah.
And I think next time we have a chat, I'd like to get into that a bit more, about how music is so important to many South Africans, like we mentioned. And I think the opportunity, since I've been in the UK since 2010. I was really impressed. When and people who don't know me, I was a music producer, and Tana's mentioned that earlier. But I was really impressed by the quality of music that since I've been away. And I'd like to talk about that next time we get together, about how the opportunities are abounding within the music industry. Like you say, there's a lot of money, and it's more commercial now. And maybe we could talk about how that could be of benefit to many people out there. But as an ending note, DJ Brentano, what do you want if you were to speak to your younger self, like your 20-year-old self? Not that you're that old, but your 20-year-old self. What advice would you give him? You know, he's just come out of school. He's been 2 years out of school. He's searching for what to do. What would you say to him?
I would say follow your heart, and don't listen to anybody. Follow your heart. It's going to show you the right way.
Yeah. And that's awesome, because I was thinking about, my mom used to say that to me. Just do what your heart says. I'm like, oh, what does it even mean? I know what it means. Follow your heart. I just realized that your heart actually does have a brain. I think it's like kind of your heart tells you something, doesn't it? And your head's telling you something, and your heart's telling you something.
Yes.
So, if your heart says do it, follow it.
Do it. Yeah.
Love it. My man, it's been a privilege talking to you.
Thank you, Mr. Spin.
Hey, you know,
it's lovely, man.
We will definitely connect again.
Yeah. I'm going to try to get out there, man, and we need to do some shows there.
You know what? I might just quit my job and do it.
And follow your dreams.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to round 2. So I want to speak to you in a few months' time, maybe 2 years. Let's say not more than 2 years. We'll have another chat, see where you are, and let's really, get more people inspired to, like you say, follow their dreams, listen to your heart, and take it forward. My man, it's been really good having you on the show, and wish you all the best.
Thanks, Clint.
Adios.
Peace, bro.
All right.
All right.